Hey there, welcome to another housing update for the Marysville, Ohio area. Marysville School District 43040 is the specific area I like to look at. My name is Derek Schwyn. I'm a local real estate professional here in town with Keller Williams Consultants and local community enthusiast and all kinds of other things on the side. But today we're here to talk about the housing market. What's the competition? What's the timing involved? Where is our inventory levels? What are interest rates? Some of those fantastic things. So hopefully this provides better context for you. My goal as a real estate professional is to be a consultant and an advisor to my clients to better help them make decisions, whether it's buying, selling, or investing, especially here in the Marysville, Ohio area or any other surrounding areas. I am happy to help you out with. If there's anything we can do for you, feel free to reach out, like, comment, subscribe, engage somewhere, and hopefully we'll connect at some point. If you've got questions, if you want to chat about anything, always here for that. So the first thing I like to talk about is competition. Who are you competing against? What are the numbers behind some of those things? And what does it mean for you? So as of when I pulled these numbers 2 days ago, on February 20th, we had 36 new listings, 40 on the market, 37 pending, and 23 sold in the last 30 days. So it seems as though inventory is rising. If you look there, hopefully you can read that text. We've got some numbers in the red going down. Active, we went down by 22% month over month, but went up 45% year over year. This time of year is a bit interesting, being that it is February and we're getting into thinking about warmer weather. Usually that's when the spring market starts to take off and things start to really happen. So that year over year really gives us some perspective on kind of what's going on over the long term. And then that month over month gives us the short term. And so with that 22% decrease in active listings, excuse me, that means we were just coming out of the holiday season, basically, after first of the year, the real kind of dead of the winter. So, but in comparison to last year, we're doing pretty good. So again, we have a pretty much flat rate for sold units across the board there month over month, but year over year, we had a pretty good increase. So things are continuing on, and here soon we'll get to some of the pricing that goes along with that. That graph there at the bottom, hopefully the color coordination there kind of gives you a general idea of the long-term last, I think that's 13 months in there, what is going on with new listings, actives, pendings, and solds to kind of give you some perspective. Depending on your situation, that depends on what my answer might be if you ask me how the market is. We're definitely in a seller's market, so if you are a seller, we continue to be in short inventory, as we'll get to here in a few minutes, giving you, theoretically, the upper hand. Now, given there's always lots of situations when it comes to, do you have another house to go to? Are you building a house? How do we have to work out timing? All of those things are kind of dependent there. So that's what we have there for some competition. For pricing, all of these numbers are green here. So month over month for our asking price, 2.8%. Increase, and obviously 7.3% increase year over year. So that asking price continues to go up. It has for a really long time, along with the sold price of 422 for February 20th when I pulled these numbers. 17.2% month over month and 10.5% year over year continues to go up. Again, sellers have the upper hand and continue to have the upper hand. We experience multiple offers still here and there, not really consistently, but definitely still a thing. If we look at days on market, the properties that close as usual are going to have a lower day on market versus those that sit on the market. But it seems as though we are getting houses sitting on the market a little bit longer, which is leading to a little bit of a slowdown in prices, it seems like. But according to the numbers, it still continues to move up in a way. Again, we have that graph down below. Had a spike there. Let's see, that was about December or so for asking price. And then we've kind of come back down a little bit. But I shared something on social media the other day talking about how great it would have been to buy a house. I think it was in 1974. Because if you were to wait for interest rates to drop at that point, prices would have skyrocketed in the time that it would have taken for interest rates to decrease sufficiently to make it worth your while if you were waiting for rates. And a lot of people said, yeah, but houses were really cheap. And that's kind of the point of the piece that I shared is real estate continues to go up, even in the short period of time, even in a year, 10% average sold price in the Marysville School District. Seems like a pretty good appreciation, especially for a place that you get a lot of utility out of it in your lifestyle and all those things. So that is that. The interesting one here that I have, I always like the list price to sales price and the price per square foot number. It's just an interesting indication of the market. This time there must have been some really goofy numbers in there because usually list price, sales price to list price is around 100%, 98%. For some reason, the numbers pulled at 62%, which was a 35% decrease month over month and a 37% increase year over year. So sometimes there's some anomalies in numbers in there. I didn't hunt them down because I assume it's just nonsense. But irregardless, probably not going to get that big of a discount for your situation. We can always hope. Price per square foot. This is the first time I've seen it really jump over the $200 mark a square foot. Being out in somewhat of a rural area, when you get out into areas with acreage, this never really applies because this doesn't account for the value of the land or the outbuildings or any of that kind of stuff. But outside of that, these numbers hold true. And again, those numbers are in the green, 22% year over year. So again, seeing a correlation there. So in timing, months of inventory, that one there in white. Really hard to tell from the graph there at the bottom. Pretty flat in comparison to days on market on the graph. But either way, 6 months of inventory would be a balanced market, as they say. And if you've listened to these videos before, most likely you've heard me say that. So I'm a broken record at this point. But if a house sits on the market for about 6 months on average, that means that buyers and sellers kind of have an even footing on both sides. And it's not necessarily a buyer's market or a seller's market. So continuing to be somewhere around the 1 month of inventory significantly still holds us in the seller's standpoint. Now, what does that mean, months of inventory? Again, if you haven't heard, if we have 10 houses on the market and in the last 30 days, 10 houses sold, it would take 1 month to sell through all of those houses at the rate they've been selling. So that's just one metric of kind of seeing the ratio between supply and demand. Days on market, again, we had quite an increase there year over year. 33%. I'm just looking at my monitor here to make sure I've got the numbers correct. So that continues to go up. So all in all, still a seller's market. We've got a lot more new builds that are happening here lately. So those are opportunities that you can get into that we haven't always seen. The community continues to grow and progress. So what are some of the other factors going on? According to my notes, we just had the announcement not too long ago that Amazon is investing $1 billion here in the community, which will have about a $900,000, I think it's over a $900,000 impact on the schools once that gets going, I think for 15 years. The city will see some revenue from that. And so we've got some improvements there from a financial standpoint, and the economics of the community continue to grow. We have a new Culver's, we have a new Chick-fil-A on the way. Things continue to go. So going back to that piece that I shared on social media, that the best time to buy a house is a long time ago, basically. There's never going to be a better time than now. If, at least in my opinion, generically speaking, obviously there's nuance to depending on what happens in the market or in the local economy and whatnot. In my opinion, I always say if that comes to fruition, we've got bigger problems to deal with. But as long as you have a house that you've kind of locked in your living expenses outside of taxes and insurance, that's really great. If you can lock in your interest rate and lock in your house price in your amortization schedule, you know what those expenses are going to be. Much better than rent if that's your position. So with Amazon coming, we've got quite a bit of investment and many other businesses coming into the area. Unfortunately, the schools is going through some hardship here trying to get the levy passed. So hopefully we'll have a good crack at that. And hopefully by the time you're watching this video, the schools will be in a great financial position. Again, with lots of things happening and economic improvement going on, there are lots of improvements there as we go through our growing pains to get there. We're getting a new superintendent in the schools. There's lots of great things going on. So as I was saying, on the 50-year average, a mortgage rate, I think, was 7.5 or 7.3, somewhere in that. And here, when I just looked at a generic number, we're at 6.89 as of March 22nd, as I'm filming this in 2025. So we're below the long-term average, doing pretty good. So again, the best time to buy a house is when you can afford one and when you need one. It's hard to say when there's a bad time to invest in real estate as far as the numbers are concerned. So Marysville is one of the fastest growing places here in Ohio, central Ohio. Great place. There's lots of drivers and lots of factors that are showing that it's going to continue to improve, and it's a great place to make an investment, great place to raise a family. It's where I chose to come back after school and raise my family and continue life here for as long as I am able. So it's my vote. Hopefully it's your vote. So hopefully those numbers might help you out in your consideration in buying, selling, or investing, maybe here in the Marysville area, whether or not you're moving in, you're moving out, whatever the case is. Again, my goal is to be a consultant and an advisor, and I think the best way to do that is to provide good information and support to my clients and my community. So that's part of the purpose in these videos that I do, among other videos that I'm trying to hopefully be a resource to you out there. So if you have any suggestions on anything you would like to know, anything I can help you out with, reach out, comment, like, subscribe, do all the stuff. So we can connect and I can hopefully be a resource to you and an advisor if that is at all what you need. I'll stop rambling now and say thanks for watching. Hopefully you liked the video. Hopefully you hit the button, subscribe if you haven't. And until next time, take care.